One of the stories we've had on Record Sport today has been stuff about the European Super League. Now, there's been kind of quote-unquote invites kind of put out all over the continent. There's talk of an 80-team setup. Stuff we've heard before, Graham, but I mean, from a Celtic point of view, I don't really know what to think of this. I don't know if it's something Celtic should really want. Is it something they should rally against? I mean, everyone thinks about the money angle. I don't know, it's a weird one.
Yeah, it's European football's equivalent to monorail out the Simpsons. It's just nonsense. And the thing is, like, if you've been invested in this for a long time, like, you know, for Celtic, for instance, Peter Law, he's had a wide-ranging brief as chief executive, but a job that he continued was his role in the ECA, which is the kind of club committee within UEFA. And guys like himself and Edwin van der Sar at Ajax, like, there's been a real commitment for teams like you would call the big teams outside the top five of the big five leagues. Benfica, Porto, PSV, Ajax, Celtic, these type of clubs, Celtic, Rangers. You've got all clubs that are got a real interest and keen eye on where this is going. And let's not kid ourselves, like Real Madrid, Juventus, Barcelona, the three kind of main protagonists in this situation. And the idea that you see stuff as well with the kind of it's like campaign season in politics. It's all about grassroots football. It's nothing to do with that. It's very simple. It's the English Premier League has a market or a hold in a way that no domestic league has ever had in football to this point. So you get things like NFL or NBA, like, who are market leaders. It's North American industry leading sports. The Premier League's edging towards that in a way that no other domestic league. Now, I know we all admired Serie A in the 90s, but there was a more spread out. It was far more equal across Europe. So right now, these big clubs are fearful. They're trying all their avenues to create the Super League. Now, we know the English teams were on board previously, but it was a chasing experience for those clubs. They've had to go back to the drawing board. They've got a big hitter PR agency involved now as well. So the idea that Celtic Rangers are valuable to UEFA and are valuable to the breakaway crew here. But the problem is, the invites is equivalent of making up the numbers, in the sense we need people to commit to this. But Celtic Rangers, they know if they're performing or making tracks in Europe, they'll always be part of the Champions League. Now, there'll be no major difference. You'd still have these really big super clubs at the top, but there's a solidity, a guarantee that comes with UEFA. And then all these things, when you look in golf, PGA and Live, and there's more to Live with all its faults than there is to this in its current format. And I know there's an agitation, I want to get away from certain clubs for a variety of reasons. But Celtic Rangers' real strength is in the safety of UEFA. And that'll carry on. I think it would need to be it would be like a billionaire. This comes back up in a reimagined format today. If this gets knocked down, it'll come back up in 6 months, a year. This is not going to stop. This is going to continue.
Aye.
But it's not built on solid foundations. It's just a twist to the latest. Now, we know there's reforms coming to UEFA. The change in the format, the Champions League, it's going to become a big... all it is going to become a literal league for the Champions League, a different style of format. The appeal of Celtic Rangers will be there for a long time because they're big names and there'll be other big clubs and they'll always be on the radar of teams trying to break away. But this isn't feasible. It just isn't. It isn't for the clubs like Celtic Rangers. They'll make the right decisions for their club, and to sign up to some kind of breakaway, it's not even. It's worth discussing because it's happening, and there's obviously a want and a desire for clubs like Celtic Rangers to make the move, but it'll be a long time before a solid proposal would be able to kind of woo teams like Celtic Rangers, who are, like I pointed out, they've been tied into this kind of, they're as switched on as any, they are involved in this. This involves them. I think UEFA's where it's at for Celtic Rangers, and it will be until something truly dramatic changes in the landscape of football. But for now, it's good story. It's very interesting. There's a lot of strands to it. But Celtic, I think, will continue to what they know and continue along the UEFA path for a long time to come.